Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryu Goes Rar. Welcome to the month of May. Hope you're all doing well during quarantine. For this video here, I'm going to be redoing my old Reaper Fast Expand build into just a standard TvT game. I think right now Reaper Fast Expand is super safe and a lot more consistent to go for than any other build. However, my last video where I did do Reaper Fast Expand, it was actually really shit now that I look back on it, so I'd like to make a more updated version for those of you who would like to do something outside of Double Gas. So this is going to be a 16-16 build, and we're going to be doing 3 gas with it. So it's going to be 2 Raven, bunch of Vikings, and then the standard Biotank stuff. You'll see what I mean as the video goes on. Just keep watching. So, in TvT, this is a tricky matchup. A lot of what you're going to be seeing in this video is me spreading out my units for vision. And the reason we do this is because in TvT, information is key. If you know where your opponent is, you can always put your army in the right spot to defend against them. In this matchup, I like to expand like this. So here, let me quickly put my guys in gas and I'll show you. Main base, natural, 3rd base, 4th base, and 5th base. I like to take this as a 4th base because you can mine this out easily and protect it. And I think this as a 3rd base right here is really easy to protect. I'm not really too worried about drops because you can have your Biotank sitting around here with your Viking Raven over here. Anyways, you're gonna make a Reaper and an Orbital and you're gonna send your SCV down here. Let's stack these workers up a little bit. And let's drop down our CC. After the CC is thrown down, we can go ahead and make a depot. We can stack this guy onto the big patch like so. And you're gonna do Reaper Marine, just like you would in TvP or TvZ. And just like in TvP, you have the option, which I highly recommend if you didn't do a 17 scout, to build a bunker. If you see your opponents going Reaper Fast Expand, you probably don't want to be doing a bunker. However, if they're double gas, I highly recommend that you get this bunker. And by highly recommend, I mean you will die if you do not get this bunker. Anyways, you're gonna do a refinery, and then a reactor. Sorry, other way around. Reactor, then refinery. You can actually change up the order and do reactor, then refinery, or refinery, then reactor, and delay the bunker a little bit. You won't need it too immediately. Another thing you can do is, let's say you do an 18 SCV scout. As the SCV gets home, he can throw down the bunker once he gets right there in front of your natural, which should be around 222. Anyways, you're gonna put your guys in here, into the bunker. You're gonna saturate this gas geyser right here. Once this thing is done right here, you're gonna start a 3rd gas, a starport, and a Hellion. And you're gonna make 2 Marines. These extra units, the Hellion and the Marines, should stay on the high ground right here. Now, cautionary note, if you think it's double gas and you think they're gonna dive into your mineral line, you can always just throw the 2nd mule in here and rally your units into the main base. You don't need to mine right away from your natural, because they're gonna dive in and you can just prevent any losses at all. Tech lab after this Hellion. Let's saturate this next gas. Once this guy building the starport's done, he's gonna go over here and make a depot. So if it's double gas, you can swap, you can make a tech lab here. However, if they're also Reaper Fast Expand, which we're gonna assume they're not, you wanna make a Cyclone first. Otherwise, you can just do the swap. We're gonna do a depot now. Keep making your SCVs. When you have 4 and a Hellion up here, you can put the Marines into this bunker. And you're gonna do a Raven once you can. Supply depot's just slightly late, that's okay. No biggie. We can go ahead and make another depot right here. We're gonna make constant depot with this, by the way. And you can choose here if you want to do 2 Cyclones or 1 Cyclone. I think 2 Cyclones really good because this prevents double Raven harass. A Cyclone, if it catches onto a Raven early, can kill it. And right after this SCV here, we're gonna go ahead and make our 3rd base. I like to cut Marines here just because I don't really feel like we need them too greatly. We're gonna make 1 more depot, send them down here. And we're gonna pull a guy off here, and we're gonna grab this SCV and we're gonna drop down 2 barracks. This Cyclone's gonna go down to the natural. We're gonna make 1 more Raven to go over here. These units can stay right there. And we're also going to throw down 2 engineering bays. A nice rule of thumb in TvT is you always want to be 3-1-1 with 2 ebays at the very minimum before the 5-minute mark, or the 5:30 mark. This applies to both double gas and to Reaper Fast Expand. So you want to have these 2 barracks and these 2 ebos and your, sorry, ebays, not ebos, and your 3rd CC down before 5:30. These are just nice solid foundational macro mechanics you want to have. We did miss our depot a little bit, so we're going to get slightly capped, that's fine. Remember to swap these 2 buildings. After the 2nd Raven, we can swap this out. Send these guys back down. You want to grab your 5th gas as you start your ebays. You're going to do 2 Vikings and another tank. And when you can, you're going to start stim and just make naked marines from this. You can additionally delay the Vikings or the tank to get the reactors, it's up to you. And with these extra SCVs, we can actually go ahead and start our next 2 barracks. So we can do barracks and barracks. And before we land the CC, we're going to go ahead and throw a scan into his main base just to see what he's got. And we can unsiege this tank, make the reactors here, and just kind of go. We can unload this bunker and salvage it. And we can keep the Ravens together. Now at this moment, as you're taking your 3rd, you're going to send out your scouting units. So that's the Reaper and the Hellion. You want to scout the Hellion and the Reaper if you can into his main base, your opponent's. We forgot a depot, whoops. And with your extra Marines, you want to start spreading them out. So with 5 Marines, you can send 1 here, we can send 1 here, we can send 1 here, 1 here. We can take our 2 gases right away. We can start our armory, 2 more reactors, more tanks. We can send this tank right here. Keep making your Vikings. These 2 Cyclones can go on the main base, you know, prevent any drops from getting in. Keep making depots here. Move these tanks up a little bit. We want to saturate these tanks right away, and we can start our next factory. And we can start 2-2 as soon as possible. Remember to start your combat shields. Keep making depots. Once we have about 6 to 8 Vikings, we can start going medevacs instead. And make sure you just have these like units spread out. So right here there's a gap, so we can put some units right here. Keep making tanks, keep making units, keep making these depots. Let's start up our 4th CC next. It's very imperative in this matchup that you have these scouting units out. So if your opponent clears them, you need to be really on top of remaking them. Now, if you're also against like heavy aggression, it's really important that you know, have a sensor tower up. So you can cut a tank if you need to get a sensor tower up if you're against a way aggressive player, because once you have that sensor tower out, you're a lot safer to most aggression. So these are things you need to keep in mind and decide for yourself as you play the game. We'll just keep making units. And with these first 2 medevacs that pop out, we're going to be wanting to send them to the middle of the map, and we just want to clear our opponent's spotters with our double drop. We can send this guy over here. With the first 2 medevacs, we're actually going to pick up this guy right here, save him from purgatory. You can grab +1 vehicle attack, or you can save the gas and go for a faster air transition. It's up to you. Now, there's multiple ways to play TvT. If you're still floating here by the time you're maxed, you can do a starport transition, you know, add more of those starports. That's what I personally like to do. However, you can also add 3 more barracks and go up to 8 racks if you like that heavy marine biotank style. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and land our 4th. Take your gases right away. We can drop right about here, near the middle really, because that's where you have the safety. We can move this guy up here. And with this drop, we can just poke around, look for openings, you know, maybe get a free Raven kill or something, find a couple of their spotters, remove vision from them so our push is better. And yeah, we're about to max out here, so we'll add 2 more or 3 more barracks. Keep making tanks, keep making medevacs. We're about maxed here, so we can wait for our 2-2 timing. If you notice that your 1-1 was way faster than your opponent, you can do this by scouting. You can always send a marine into their base or throw a scan out there. You can check whether or not your upgrades are faster. If your upgrades are faster, I highly recommend that you go for a 2-2 timing as your max. because 2-2 is just so killer of an upgrade set. Anyways, we're gonna grab our guys here, because let's say we do have that 2-2 window. We're against the AI, we most likely do. We can grab our units here. With our spotters, we can say that, hey, he didn't actually have any vision here, and this is where he's, say, maybe building his 4th base, or his 3rd base is open. So we can go around this way, have your extra bases, macro CCs, reactors. You can now do your extra starports, another armory and a fusion core, if you're still floating. You can start your 3-3. Then we can just go for the push in here. Macro CCs are nice, they're good to go for. We can even bring these with, we probably should have brought them with, that's my bad. We can even see here, our thing sees his units here, and so would our spotter, so we can react a little bit early to this pressure. And yeah, that's TvT, that's how you would do this build. You don't make Marauders in this matchup, by the way, unless it's against mech. But with how this build was played out, we're assuming that this is bio versus bio. Obviously, against mech, you want to do things a little bit differently. You kind of want to play it like a TvP, only with a lot more siege tanks. We can take our 5th base here. We can do double reactor. We can start our air upgrades. We can get lib range and medevac speed. I think medevac speed's a cool upgrade, very good. And yeah, that will really be everything. Make sure you guys have your spotters. Make sure you send them out early, because those extra marines, until you have stim and combat shields and some medevacs, you're not really going to be doing too much with them. Anyways, that'll be the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe versus quarantine, or during quarantine, not really versus. And thank you for watching. Peace.